Yesterday, we told you that a number of managers at the Atlantis Resort were laid off and that executive management cited planned renovations at Coral and Beach Towers as the reason behind the redundancies. Well, the labor minister is weighing in on the job cuts, saying any layoffs are a concern.
Every day of my life, I'm concerned about Bahamians being employed and Bahamians possibly being laid off. It is a reality all over the world. And the Bahamas is not unique in that persons don't lose their jobs, and we don't have a concern about the high levels of unemployment. I had a meeting in my constituency office last week because I saw 65 persons, 63 of them are looking for jobs. And so I know the concerns that people have. I know there are lots of individuals who are unemployed.
Now, the labor minister added that government has created thousands of jobs since taking office, but says it's clearly not enough.
As of November of last year, the government had created over 20,000 jobs. 20,000, that's the Department of Statistics information. And that's from 2012, May 2012 to November 2015. Over 20,000 jobs created. Now, obviously that's not enough. When you have an average of 5,000 kids coming out of school every year, when you have companies, what they call right sizing, they have all sorts of fancy names right now, but the bottom line is companies are looking at ways to try and maximize their profits in the face of having their own challenges.
Public health officials say chemicals emanating from the landfill on Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway could have short-term health effects for residents and persons who frequent the area if something isn't done to resolve the matter soon. Our Dawn Davis caught up with the manager in charge of the surveillance unit at the Department of Public Health.
Billowing smoke and other fuels have hovered over the New Providence landfill and neighboring communities on and off for years. Senior Manager of Surveillance in the Department of Public Health, Dr. Merciana Moxie, says inhaling these toxic air pollutants will no doubt have a great impact on the respiratory systems of exposed persons.
So you can have persons who are complaining of respiratory symptoms such as cough, mucus production in their lungs, wheezing, shortness of breath. Less severe symptoms could be eye irritation, headaches, nausea. So those are all symptoms that you can exhibit when you are exposed to certain toxic pollutants in the air.
Dr. Moxie says over the past few months, a number of residents in Jubilee and Victoria Gardens were forced to seek medical attention.
From the surveillance unit point of view, seeing that I work in a surveillance unit, we have seen a slight uptick in persons. What we do in the surveillance unit is we monitor persons coming into the various clinics, with certain symptoms. And one of the symptoms that we would monitor is fever and respiratory problems. And since the fires at the dump, we have seen an uptick in those persons coming into Flamingo Gardens Clinic. Yes,
how many cases can you say?
Oh, I can't tell you how many cases.
And while some of these infections are treatable, Dr. Moxie says there are others that are not and can take several years before they take a toll on an infected person.
We know that fires at dump sites can be accidental, or where someone is smoking at the site, or deliberate. And then you can have spontaneous fires at dump sites. So I guess better management control to try and control it, and once it happens, to try and contain it. So that it doesn't get the radius that the smoke is traveling is not so wide.
And so to avoid further health complications, several residents have already opted to simply pack up and leave the area. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
It's an exclusive financial summit being hosted here in the capital, which brings together an all-star cast of financial gurus, economic forecasters, and geopolitical analysts. The focus of the three-day summit will provide information on wealth building, offshore investing opportunities, financial privacy, and investments. Minister of Finance, Prime Minister Perry Christie, opened the Global Financial Summit last evening at the Atlantis Resort. Here's Jimenita Swain.
Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie opened a three-day Global Financial Summit that's been hosted here at least 7 times by conference organizers. Mr. Christie told delegates of the successes the Bahamas has had with anchor projects such as Genting in Bimini and the many developments throughout the country. But he also spoke to the challenges the government has seen when it comes to investment projects, such as the multi-billion-dollar Bahama resort on the Cable Beach Strip.
The encouraging thing for the government of the Bahamas is we continue to see some of the world's elite corporations expressing an interest in talking to the bank about being able to engage in an application for ownership. We expect this matter to happen, and we hope that it happens shortly, where the construction would be finished. It would be opened for new managers moving forward.
Participants were eager to take photographs with the nation's leader after his address. He even took in some of the exhibits. Conference Director Valerie Durham said selecting the Bahamas was an easy fit time and time again for the Global Summit for a number of reasons.
We're expecting about 150 different wealthy business people, investors, entrepreneurs who are going to come here to Nassau to interconnect, to talk about economics, finances, investing, all of that. The Bahamas represents a wonderful location. It's known for its pro-business and pro-investing environment.
Bridgeford Trust President David Warren says the private trust has about $1 billion under administration, and he hopes to attract more business by attending the event.
We're an independent trust company based out of South Dakota, which is a very, very progressive trust jurisdiction in the United States. And what's happening around the world is a lot of money and families are coming to the United States for a myriad of reasons. And South Dakota is one of the premier trust jurisdictions for issues around asset protection, tax savings. Privacy is a really big component.
The Global Financial Summit that hopes to find market solutions to world problems will wrap up on Saturday at the Atlantis Resort. Jiminita Swain, ZNS Network News.
The Andrews double murder trial winding down now in the Supreme Court before Justice Indra Charles. Prosecutors claim the defendants Daniel Coakley, Zintwern Duncombe, James Johnson, and Cordero Saunders kidnapped senior immigration officer Shane Gardner from his central Andrews home along with his friend Tishka Brennan in an apparent armed robbery attempt. They also contend the defendants took the couple deep into bushes on Newbold Farm and fatally shot them. Allegations all of the accused have denied. Darnell Dorset and Patrick Sweeting are prosecuting the case. Ian Cargill, Donna Major, Terrell Butler, and Moses Bain make up the defense. 39-year-old Haitian national Evan Jean Gilles was sentenced to 5 years in prison today after he pleaded guilty to having sex with an 8-year-old girl multiple times. Gilles was facing up to life in prison, but his 5-year sentence was part of a plea agreement. Justice Carolita Bethel told Gilles that his sentence was light, but she noted that he didn't waste the court's time and pleaded guilty at the earliest opportunity. At the same time, she told the father of two that there is something wrong with him mentally, and she advised him to get help before he's released from prison. She noted that the country doesn't have a sexual offenders register, but she ordered that his name be placed on it should legislation be enacted to make it a reality. Gilles then apologized to the child and her family, noting that he used to serve God, but he says he backslid and then found himself doing, quote, this foolishness, end quote. He begins serving his sentence immediately.
If you know of a crime, please call Crime Stoppers at 328-8477, toll free 242-300-8477. You can also check them out on www.crimestoppersbahamas.com. Let's stop the crime before it's your time.